Well, to discuss the situation further with me, joining me now is the Palestinian ambassador to the UK, Husam Zomlot. Mr. Zomlot, thank you so much for joining us. I just want to first get your reaction to this piece.
It's heart-shattering. And the 19,000 orphans we have now in Gaza, and the sheer trauma of every child in Gaza, every child in Palestine, is really something we have to deal with and deal with very soon. Nothing would shatter a child more than seeing their own parents being murdered, executed in front of their eyes. You're talking about a phenomenon. And many people are still discussing what is the aim of Israel and why Israel is doing what it's doing. The plan is clear. The plan is absolutely clear, to turn Gaza lifeless, unlivable. And after the International Court of Justice has ruled that the crime of genocide is plausible and now Israel is officially on trial, I think we should not be discussing what is happening.
Well, the international community, we're hearing firmer language from the United States, from the UK. France today has said the civilian deaths. Emmanuel Macron has said it's intolerable.
Well, words are not enough. And I think we are worried about the international community. We are really worried about the world. Because Gaza is passing through the worst of times. But I am not sure what will happen next to the rest of us, all of us. Because the normalization of the mass murder of children, the normalization of the mass destruction of houses, 70% of the Gaza housing stock are gone, the normalization of the sheer destruction of an entire community is going to haunt all of us. And the international community is just condemning, concerned. These responsible actors should act rather than declare sympathies.
Well, Mr. Zomlot, behind the scenes, we have seen negotiations take place. The United States, Qatar, Egypt's involved. We're also seeing they're talking to the Israelis. They're all dealing with Hamas. What of the PA? What are your side doing?
We're doing everything we can to stop this carnage. We want an immediate permanent ceasefire. We went to the Security Council first because it's there. It's that order that was established. Security Council is there to prevent wars, to start with. It failed because of the US veto. And then we continued with all our international partners to make sure that A, we stop the carnage, B, we provide the humanitarian aid and the reconstruction, and you know Israel is blocking all that. And C, we not want to see accountability, the International Court of Justice, because we have to bring justice to these people. And we have to create deterrence so this is never, ever going to happen again to our children. This should never happen to anyone, including the Palestinian people. And we wanted to see international sanctions so Israel starts listening, because words are not enough. We haven't seen any of this. The international community is sitting on its hands, literally, as genocide is being committed, as the international order and the rules we created together after the Second World War are being demolished. And I think the consequences will affect every single human being on earth.
Mr. Zomlot, will you also urge Hamas to release the hostages, to put an end to this war from their side as well?
I would urge Israel's supporters like the US to pressure Israel to accept the deal by Qatar and by Egypt and by the US, actually, for a hostage exchange.
But what about Hamas's responsibility?
Remember, Israel is a state that harbors terrorism, incling arresting people without trial charge.
Mr. Zomlot, I'm just going to push you. I'm going to push you though on Hamas.
What's the difference?
What are the PA doing to urge Hamas to release those hostages?
First of all, I represent the state of Palestine and the PLO.
Yes.
And the PLO is very clear on this. There has to be a hostage exchange. Israel has taken, only in the last 4 months, 7,000 Palestinian hostages in its jails without trial or charge. Many of them are children. You know what's the difference between Israel and Hamas in this situation? Israel should act as a responsible state, but it is not. And therefore, yes, there is a deal.
But as a Palestinian, I mean, you know, when you look at this situation that has been brought on, I know you're going to talk about the context before October 7, and I understand that. But from October 7, given the situation has been brought on the Palestinian people, how are you going to urge Hamas and its leadership? There is criticism of Hamas. We saw images of Yahya Sinwar in tunnels. We see Hamas leaders in Qatar. you know, and the Palestinian people are suffering.
Hamas is not part of the political system, of the Palestinian political system. There is Palestinian leadership, there are Palestinian national structures, and we are very clear. Number one, we need to stop this carnage. Israel is targeting our people. It is not targeting Hamas. Israel is eradicating the Palestinian people, the Palestinian children, our schools, education system, our universities. The 12 universities in Gaza, all of them are gone.
Well,
Israel is targeting our health sector, so it is targeting our people. Hostages could be exchanged tomorrow. Israel is blocking that because Netanyahu is not interested in stopping this war. But we, the Palestinian Liberation Organization, are focusing on the Al in our name. That is liberation. We need to go back to the root cause of all this. Otherwise, this is a vicious circle. We are waiting for the next tragedy. So we shouldn't just...
Well, we keep hearing about revitalizing, the two-state solution, looking at revitalizing the Palestinian leadership. But the truth also is the Palestinian people have lost faith in their leadership.
Well, that's up for the Palestinian people, and they have all the legitimacy, and they must choose their leadership and elect their leadership. But this is none of the business of the US or the international community. The business of the international community is to uphold international rules and law and to stop the carnage, and they are complicit. They're not doing so.
Mrs. Zomlot, thank you very much for joining us here on the programme.